Hey there, Chubs fans. It's time for another fabulous episode of Chubs Gone Wild. Recorded on January 25th, 2021. This is episode number 378. We are almost at 380. What are we going to do for our big 380 show?
Nothing.
Oh, you know what I was thinking this morning? We should, um, we should create, with all these friggin' holidays out there that are so pointless. We should create a Chub celebration holiday. I mean, other than
I thought that's what Halloween was.
well, but that could put us in a bad light. And I'm not talking about like, chocolate appreciation day or pizza appreciation day. Every day is a Chub appreciation day somewhere, somehow, with some food. But I'm talking about something just for us.
I was thinking we should have people go onto YouTube and pick which picture of me looks worse that you posted.
I changed them all up.
They're all back. All back.
Okay, I will make a note of that because it should be. You are not hideous. I hear all the time, oh, he's so hot. I want him to be my daddy.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I will double check that because they should all be just the covers now. YouTube check. Okay. So now everybody's going to rush over there and be all like, oh, I didn't even know there were videos. Now we can go and look at him and take our time eating pizza and playing with ourselves naked.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or like Moose, he could watch the video while he does 800 things around the house before noon.
I don't know where he gets the energy or the resolve, but oh my gosh,
I'm never that bored.
It's like, oh, I got up at 5 a.m. and I went out and I built a shed and I furnished it and
we did all the sprinkler systems and the lighting systems and the security system.
Right.
Oh, it's only 7:30 in the morning. Wow,
yeah.
Really good. It's amazing. Here.
Now, see, I have decided that I need a husband like him or like Gooch, who's Vera Charles's husband. Yeah. Somebody who can like manage me. See, this is the thing: is when I was a kid, and I imagine you felt the same. When I was a kid, I thought I was going to grow up and be a famous like movie star, right? So that meant that I wouldn't have to think about anything because I'd have handlers. I had people that took care of everything for me.
Really,
so that I could just
I need a handler.
Yes, so that I could just bask in my creativity.
Well,
this is what I want now. I want
really understanding who you are.
Thank you. This
answers so many questions.
I need just a handler now, or a like. That's why I love having a stage manager because they just did everything. You just stand there and decree and direct and be creative, and the stage manager takes care of all the shit.
Yeah, it could be my stage manager. It'll be fun. I'm just going to work you like a whore.
And you know what? If he was my husband, I would be his creative whore. But that's what I want now. Yes, I want a husband who can be my handler.
I want a handyman husband who can cook and clean.
See, that would be part of the handling.
Well,
they would have money enough that they could hire the people to do that so that I could just sit and be creative and be oohed and awed over.
It's the Peggy Bundy syndrome, right?
No, because that's the thing that I hated about that show is that she was just the epitome of the bitch trash who sabotaged everybody and everything that good stuff happened to. Okay, so that she could just sit there and eat bonbons and watch trash TV and look like, a slutty whore. Now, in theory, I'm okay with that, but on that show, I fucking hated her because she was a sabotager. She probably could have had like good things in her life, but she sabotaged everybody every time, all the time. Okay. Yeah, but I love her and everything else. I think she's an amazing actress. Anyway, but yes, husbands who have a good solid income and want to just hire people to take care of me, applications open. So there we go. Put that out in the universe. Anyway, today is currently 48 degrees and cloudy. Well, it was cloudy. It's kind of cleared up a little bit now outside the Chubs Gone Wild remote studios. It's currently 279 days to Halloween, 334 days till Christmas, and only 20 days until Valentine's Day. Yay! I'm looking forward to all the chocolate and all the Valentine's Day cards that will come into my mailbox. Well, probably someone else's mailbox, and I'll be sitting there like Charlie Brown waiting for the postman and
Oh, please. That's me. I'm Charlie Brown. I get zip. You get love. You get appreciation. You get candy every year. And then you flaunt it in my face.
I try not to, but I have to thank people on the show.
No, yeah.
I have a suspicion that there are probably some oh gosh, what the hell are they called? Reese's Hearts out there that may find their way to your door.
No.
We'll see though. You gotta be nice and a good boy and all that. Or wait, no, you have to be a bad boy. You have to be a bad boy to get them. All right, well, let's see what we celebrate today with all the silly Checky holidays. And that's the name of the website, not like Czechoslovakian. Anyway, moving on. Today we celebrate a room of one's own. And let me tell you, girl, growing up the way I did, I had to share a room with my grandmother for a while. And when I finally got my own room, it was the best thing ever. A door that closes. Anyway, also, better business communication, bubble wrap appreciation, Burns Supper. That's all it says is Burns Supper. That's no, bad dog. Community manager appreciation, fluoride, Macintosh computers, National Irish Coffee Day, and National Opposite Day. Fuck that shit with the opposite crap. Anyway, speaking of, however, the Irish coffee, you know what I did last night? I got a very large. Now, if you're watching on video, you can see my hand gestures. Very large Smirnoff Ice Crush or Bash or something Smash, I think it is. Anyway, and it's basically 8% alcohol in a wine cooler from Smirnoff. And I took about 3 big drinks of it, and it reminded me why I don't drink anymore. It tasted horrible, and I just kind of felt blech. So I dumped it out. There you go.
Oh my God, that is such an exciting story.
Well, okay, so tell me about what you did last night with your bottles of vodka.
That's fabulous. I'm sorry?
Tell me what you did last night with your bottles of vodka.
Drank them.
See, I am just not a drinker anymore. But
so what was the point of the story? Just that you're not a drinker anymore?
I don't know. I was trying to fill out time since the last show was so short.
Oh, God. This is going to be about 20 minutes then.
All right. Well, let's see. Today, our affirmation is, I release the need to blame anyone. I love the people around me as they are.
Ooh, that can't be further from the truth for you.
Well, apparently they've never met my father. So we'll just leave that there, and you can take it or leave it. Anyway, Patreon offers a way for y'all to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcasts, videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons: Clint, Nephi, Nick, and DJ Sausage from Univaz, Timothy, Eric, Juan Carlos, Brother Sinadis, Phoenix Dave, and Moose P. Please visit patreon.com/MattBurlingame and become a member for as little as $1 a month, and you can get very interesting things, I promise. All right, let's check in and see who's got birthdays coming up this week. You want to guess who might?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Let's see. We got Lisa Marie. Happy birthday, Lisa. Also, we've got Shane, author Taran. I'm going to say Tarian. Hope that's close. Also, Janice, Marco. Oh, sexy Marco. He likes big boys. Also, we've got Jeff. We've got Mama Ouija. And we got Juan and Clint. Not our Clint, but another Clint. He could be our Clint, though, because he's cute. Anyway, moving on. Richard and William. Happy birthday to all of you. I thought we had a couple. Never mind. I'm sure we'll get there. I just know we will. Okay, we got one thing in our feed bag here. Are you ready for this? Hold on to your hats, ladies.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
Oh, good. You need to be, because this is about you.
Sure.
Tom suggested that my fried chicken was something out of a package. How dare he suggest that? Just joking, not angry. But I buy...
Question.
What?
That looks so good. It looks like it's from out of a package.
Okay. Defend yourself. That's good. That's good. All right. Let's see. But I buy real organic free-range chicken, hand trim the fat and gristle off of it. I use a scallopini hammer to pound the chicken. Ooh, that's dirty. To pound the chicken to a 1/4 inch thickness. Dip each piece in flour, then beaten egg, then in seasoned flour. I heat avocado oil and get it very hot. Dip the chicken in the oil and sear the breading, then bake it in a very hot oven to cook the meat. It's done in about 12 minutes. While the chicken cooks, I make homemade country gravy. None of this open a package stuff. Also, he sent wishes that he hopes my mom gets better soon and she will be in his thoughts. So that was very sweet. But anyway, so that sounds...
I always like to hear how people, what their dredging process is. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I never know what I always do the egg and then the flour. And then I hear some people like that who, do flour first, and they're probably right.
Yeah, well, it's just, it looked too professional. So good for him.
Yeah. Well, he's got the time in between, renovating a car and cleaning out his garage and putting away 3 properties worth of Christmas lights. And so, all righty. Well, let's get into some Chub hugs. We want to send Chub hugs out to Casey in Denver, whose little Gus passed. And then to Debbie, who is pretty much single-handedly caring for both of her parents now. And her mom just went through some stuff in the hospital, so we send her a lot of love. And also Joe in Dallas, whose mom has been going through some health stuff and, could use a little love and support. So we send them all lots of love, and anyone else who is going through similar and needs it. What you got, sir?
Well, for all the people that have to endure looking at that hat and that background of yours. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, it's just nauseating.
Well, would you rather see my hair, which I'm not going to show on video?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the background.
Oh, yeah. What's the only thing that doesn't make me disappear every 5
yeah,
seconds?
you disappear. How about just showing your filthy bedroom?
No.
Okay.
No, seriously, right now? No.
Can you tip the camera so
it's in transition.
Oh, yeah, it's called filth. That's what.
Now, when you get one of those, I've got 2 of those like IKEA type things that you have to put together, and then you have more packaging than you ever need strewn all over the place.
What IKEA thing?
You know, anything that you have to put together, they're too small tables. They just roll. There should be like 5 parts to them. Stuff all over the place. Anyway, enough about that. We're going to get interested in Tom's week. What's up?
Nothing.
Okay. Really? There's got to be like 10 shows that you want to complain about.
Well, the girls are fine.
Uh-huh.
They're looking lovely. They're short though. They're very short, which is weird. I don't understand what's going on there, but they're nice and healthy, and the flowering process is going through, and I'm very happy with that. And it's been cold, so I've had to run the heat, which is odd for us. We usually don't run the heat that much, but it's been like wet cold, that England kind of cold. If you've ever been, well, you haven't, but for those of you who have been in England during the winter time, it's cold. It's just bone chilling kind of cold. So like especially yesterday with the storms coming up. It's ugly.
It's way down.
Let's see. I did want to mention that RuPaul's Drag Race season 13, we finally got to the point where all 13 of the contestants are together. So when the first girl gets sent home on the 4th episode, she's already been on 4 episodes. That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, because it's all about exposure. That's how I think about the show.
Yeah.
Because I mean, 12 of the girls aren't going to win, but I've seen, I mean, 3 of the girls who have actually been the first ones thrown out have big careers.
Right.
You know, they're well-known names in the business. So 4 episodes I thought was pretty generous, and I'm still trying to figure out why they're doing it. Maybe it's just because there's not much original programming right now, so might as well throw in a few more episodes. Let's see, hockey is back, so that's been pretty ugly. Lots of pleading, screaming, crying,
and that's just from Sean.
That's only from Sean, yes. WandaVision, we got episode 3, which offers the Brady Bunch house, and because we were at Bewitch's house last week and the Petrie's house the week before. Now they're in the Brady Bunch house, not the outside of the house, but the inside of the house. And then they're now in color, as were the shows that they were, because Dick Van Dyke was always in black and white, and the Bewitched was black and white, but then got into color. So the show, the 2nd episode ends with them becoming in color, and then this week with the Brady house. So it's going someplace strange. I mean, there's something going on, and they're teasing us with it, but they're just teasing at this point. So I think for some people it's going to be like, oh God, what's going on with this thing? And other people,
I've heard from a lot of people that are like, I checked out the first 2 episodes and I don't want to bother watching anymore of it.
Yeah, it's neat. You need to keep watching it. Let a few more episodes pile up so you can see the progress. I think that would be the best for anybody that's already quit. Come back in 2 or 3 weeks and then take a look again.
Right.
Okay. Let's see. There's a show on Netflix right now called Alice in Borderland, and it's a Japanese series about everyone disappearing in Japan, but a few people in Tokyo, and they're somehow being used as pawns in games, like grown-up games with guns and knives, and so it's imagine something Quentin Tarantino might make, a Japanese picture with teenagers fighting their way to survive. Okay. So it's very fun. The episodes are just under an hour and they move like nothing. I mean, you're like going, wait, it's already over? What? So it was fun. It runs 8 episodes, and if you like any of that kind of exploitation type stuff, that you'll really like this. It was fun. Let's see. Then I did watch One Night in Miami, which is on Prime, and this is Regina. Oh God, is it Hall or King? It's the one who's the actress, the big actress who was in Watchmen. She was also in. I mean,
I think it's King, but let's see here.
See, I thought it was Hall. Anyway,
One Night in Miami, you said?
Yes, director.
And it's the film?
Yes.
It is Regina King.
King, okay. Regina King.
Well, that's the director, yes.
Well, that's who I'm talking about.
Okay.
She's directing this. She's a big actress, a great actress, but this is her first directorial film, and it's based on a play from Broadway, a Broadway play called of the same name, and it's basically what would have happened had Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, and Jim Brown all been together on the same night in Miami after one of Muhammad Ali's last fights as Cassius Clay. So when he took the crown or the belt, the heavyweight belt, that night, suppose they've got four of them together, and it's really interesting because you get a different perspective of what being black was in the early 60s from the point of view of famous people, people who were very well known and not just in their own circles, but in, as far as nationwide. Sam Cooke had hit songs on the radio that people knew. He sang Cupid, draw back your bow, that one.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at his songs and you're going, wow, I didn't realize he sang all those songs. I didn't know who sang them, but it was him. And then Jim Brown was a big famous football player at the time. You had Malcolm X, of course, he was well, I guess you would have referred to him as a radical at that point. And then you had Jim Brown, who had I think, did I tell? Yeah. He was successful in Muhammad Ali. So these are famous people, but what they had to endure was really interesting. And some of the early scenes in the movie obviously didn't take place in the play, because they're showing like Sam Cooke at the Copacabana where he's playing, and the white people, which were most of the audience, are getting up and walking out because it's a black man. And just things like that, and you think, oh my God, how far we've come in 60 years, but have we? Okay.
Well, yeah. In fact, two quick things. One, somebody actually posted the timeline of the vice presidents, to where we got to Kamala, and it was showing the vice presidents circled, and the year that black people could finally vote, or the year that, this and that and the other. And it still just floors me how recently all that shit was that we were still going through. And the other thing is, I was starting to watch a piece that was talking about the whitewashing of MLK and Malcolm X to make them digestible to the white community. And I just leave it at that. That's out there. It's interesting if people want to check that out.
If people are fans of the Muppets,
yes,
Disney Plus is going to be showing or made available all 6 seasons of the Muppet Show.
It's wonderful.
The original one, and it's funny because it was such a good show. I remember it was on syndication. I'm pretty sure it was just syndication, but it was so popular. I mean, I would watch it with my parents, and we enjoyed the whole thing. It wasn't just, it didn't feel like a puppet show.
Yep.
Or Sesame Street. So that they were really good shows. Brian had said that when they were in England, they were a little bit longer, each of the episodes.
Oh.
Because they didn't have to take out for commercials. And so he's hoping that there's extra skits in there that have been cut for American television that we're going to finally see. So
that would be awesome.
yeah, and also with the One Night in Miami, first of all, the acting is just amazing. Um, the script and the direction really good. You know, speaking as somebody who's been involved in play work, seeing how you can take a play that takes place in a motel room with 4 people and make it feel not claustrophobic at all was really. I mean, like at one point, Jim Brown has an argument with one of the guys, and he goes into the bathroom and he's washing his hands, but he can still hear them arguing in the room. So it's just like he moved out of off the set, you know, kind of feel to it. So it just felt like it was there was more movement in there than you normally would get, obviously, in a play. So really like the way they dealt with that. I'm not sure if that was the writer or the director, but bravo, whoever, you know, devised keeping the feeling less like a play and more like a movie.
Right.
Because I mean, even if you go back to like Boys in the Band that we had earlier, late last year, it still felt kind of like a movie. I mean, like a play. You know, because it was. I've seen the show done, and it's like the only thing they made different was that the kitchen was not visible from the entire set, so that gave like a little space where they can go off. But otherwise, it was pretty much, you know, that's the show. So other than that, as I said, the girls are fine. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to getting out of the house one day.
Yeah, it's yeah. Well, I actually was able to take a little trip out to, well, our listeners probably won't know, but you know, like Orangevale area, and got to go out there and just I ended up stopping and going to a Big Lots and then coming home. And let me tell you, it felt like a day out, a Sunday in the park, or just like it just did so good just to get out and do something for 5 minutes. And you know, of course, we were still safe, so that's good. But
so, what was your favorite Bernie meme?
The only one that really made me laugh was the one of Janet Jackson's cover. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
So for anyone that didn't, it's one of her older covers where she's got her arms up, she's got no shirt on, and in the original cover, there's 2 hands that come around and cover her breasts, and it was the mittens over the breasts, and that's the one that made me laugh. The rest of them, I'm like, I titter. I think it's amusing. I'm all for it, but nothing's like, you know, really making me laugh.
See, I thought they were all pretty funny. Well, most of them were pretty funny. But yeah, I didn't get one that was like my overall favorite though. I mean, I really liked the Breakfast Club, you know, where they're all sitting in their chairs and he's, you know, he's the nerd in that.
Yeah.
They took added him there, and just, you know, different. It's. I mean, I've actually liked the ones that local people I know have done. Like one friend of mine, she put him in front of a Girl Scout cookie table.
Oh, I saw that one. That was good.
Oh, see, I thought that was her. I thought she maybe have done it herself.
It could be.
I doubt it.
Well, you know how Facebook likes to share friends' posts, friends to friends posts.
Yeah, but I thought that was funny because, you know, it's cold and sitting there selling cookies would be hilarious. But now, is it true? Now, I heard that he took one of the memes, made T-shirts out of it, sold the T-shirts, and gave all the money away.
I have heard that too. I saw a post about that. Of course, you know, internet stuff. Right. I don't trust it that it wasn't somebody that was just saying that to sell shirts, but if he did, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and the mittens were made by a lesbian mother.
Yeah. Now, are they for? Because are they available, or is that
she said no. She appreciated it, but like people were contacting her wanting her to make them some, and she said, you know, I'm full-time mom and a full-time I work full time. I don't have time to make tons of mittens, but thank you very much for the interest. So, yeah, it was a little overwhelming for her, from what I understand,
Well,
in a good way, in a very
yeah,
good.
the call for it had to be crazy.
Yeah. So.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, all right. Let's see. Well, let's jump into my week and starting off with a mom update. So mom update. She called me about 4 5 days ago, and told me that both she and her roommate had tested positive for COVID. So they moved her to another wing of the facility that she's in. It's a rehab facility to help her get stronger and be able to come home. She and her roommate are going to be in isolation for at least 10 days. We're hoping that everything remains asymptomatic and that she doesn't actually, develop any symptoms or go through any of the stuff that so many people have. So it is very worrying, and it's what's done is done. I'm not going to sit here and play the blame game of how it happened or what happened or whatever. The fact is, we're here now and having to send her all the best energy to keep her, going. She's pretty tired, and I do get to talk to her, thankfully, at least once a day. And we got to FaceTime the other day. Of course, she kept kind of pushing the camera up because uh, she's not too happy about her hair right now. So she didn't really care to be on camera, but she was really happy to see me and see her dog and the stuff people around here. So we're just trying to keep her spirits up, and she's trying to keep doing her physical therapy and getting stronger. But you can tell that she's kind of tired and kind of tired of dealing with all of this stuff, because it has been in
A
3 days.
month.
It will have been a month that she has
Yeah.
been out of here, and I've only seen her twice.
And this is crazy. I mean, she's basically been bedridden for a month,
Yeah,
and that's got
and
to be exhausting.
uh-huh, it really is. And she can get up for a while when she does her physical therapy, and then sometimes she can sit in a chair for a little bit. But other than that, she was laying in bed and had a TV with 3 channels, and that's how she passes the day. So I
That's
was
what,
able to take her tablet, and she has her phone, and so she can, do what she needs to do. Um, so basically, it's just waiting with bated breath, hoping that she, it leaves her and leaves her fine. Uh, yeah. So
so she's still non-symptomatic.
yes, correct.
Nothing
Uh,
at all. No fever, no anything.
no, nothing.
That's
Just
good. I
tested
mean,
positive.
that's and did you ever find out what all the meds were?
Oh, I did talk to her, and thank you, by the way. Tom and Sean have been very good about helping me know what to ask and everything. They basically said until she actually shows symptoms that they wouldn't give her the I
Was it?
always fuck up the
Yeah.
name, Revesidir, basically the meds that they do for that. But that since even being in the hospital, the vitamin D and the vitamin C and stuff like that, they have her on all of that, and they have had since before she was in the hospital. I mean, when she started going into
Right.
the hospital. So she does have all that.
Yeah, the vitamin D and C are very important. So, I mean, I'd suggest that for people who are, uh, not going out and sitting, they're hoping not to get this because
Right.
the D has been, um, people who are low in D tend to get the
Get hit harder.
worst cases. Yeah. So,
Yeah. So yeah, I have D3 gummies, um, and I take 6,000 units of it a day. Um, Just every little bit helps, even if you think that, who knows if it helps or not, take it anyway. Don't drink bleach, but the rest of it. So,
Oh, speaking of that, did you hear that the lady with the scarf from the White House, that always came out in the scarf for the coronavirus talks, the other doctor with Fauci?
yeah, I think so.
Okay, she said that while there was never a full-time effort with the coronavirus from the White House. There was never a full-time job for these people. It was something they focused on. Okay, get the product out to them. Once that was over with, it was like, let's get a cure and then a vaccine, and then after that there was nothing. So she just said that, and Fauci said that both of them were told, don't go on Rachel Maddow. Don't talk to, there's certain people you can't talk to. Don't talk about what's going on at the White House. They were basically held hostage by the White House during the whole time. So,
yeah.
And instead of being able to tell us important things, they were told to either, it's basically the thumper's father. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything at all. And that's kind of how they were held in bondage. Hey, just like your hat.
Yeah. Well, at least my hat isn't. Hearing more and more about the stuff that. Okay, two things. One, hearing more and more about the stuff that the people that like that went through. Clear dictatorship all the way. And then the other thing is the more that's coming out about the minutia in the insurrection.
Yeah.
Totally planned,
Oh, yeah.
supported by people, even set up and support. I mean, the button, the panic buttons under people's desks were taken out. That had to be inside. I mean, that was all inside shit with these idiot.
Well, what I'm loving is that a lot of these people who were arrested, Mr. Horn Man, fur and horn guy, just a lot of these people are going, hey, I just did what the president asked me to do.
Right. Not only the president, but
I was trying to appease my president.
Yeah.
And because he's there going, hey, I didn't say anything. And it's like, now they've got all these lawyers going, my client is saying that they were only following the rule, what the president was asking them to do, which is great, because now not only do you have a bunch of witnesses who were the Senate and the House of Representative, who, I mean, here you got the Senate voting on whether he's guilty or not, and every single person sitting in that Senate is basically a witness.
Right.
They were a victim as well as a witness. So, and now you've got the people who stormed the castle saying, well, it was him. He's the one that made us do it. He told us he wanted us to do this. We were taking back the election that was stolen from him. So everything points back towards him finally. And I know that, the Republicans are going to peter out and not get rid of, basically the thing we want is, we want 67 of the senators to say he was guilty of this, not to throw him in jail, but just to say that as president, he tried to do a coup on the American democracy. And then after that, they can go to Article 14, which says he can never take office again.
Right.
And that only needs to be 51, which would mean all the Democrats plus Kamala Harris, and we can make sure that man never takes federal office again.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I could care less about the rest of it.
Right. Yeah. But he needs to be held accountable.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and so does that.
These people that are constantly saying, oh, well, he's out of office, it shouldn't matter. Right. That's like saying that, well, the Germans, I mean, the Americans came in and the Soviets came in and stopped them from what they were doing. So they can't do it anymore. So why should we prosecute them? I'm sorry.
I mean, there in pretty much any other country, treasonable offenses are like death sentences.
Right.
And we're just like, America is just like, oh well, c'est la vie,
Well,
good show. It's almost like they don't know what the fuck to do. They're just like golf clapping and saying, good show, good show. Sorry,
I, I like him. I don't want him to get, like thrown in jail. I don't want him. He's a nice. He's just misunderstood.
Well, yeah, and not to mention
Sad.
like the cruises and
Sad
the
that he
tunnels and
lost.
stuff. If the president gets, because of his crimes, then that trickles right down to them as his henchmen and his okay people. What could possibly happen to them? Of course, they don't want him to have any punishment. They don't want to end up in prison or anything like that.
Don't talk about Ted Cruz that way.
Oh man, how did this oily ass car salesman underling bootlicker get office? Oh, that's right, gerrymandering and shit like that, I guess. Because
Yeah.
oh man, he is just like, he's that person in the movie that you really can't wait till his character gets killed off, and you
Yeah.
hope that it's kind of icky.
Well, yeah, he's the guy that falls off the building at the end of the movie, and everyone claps in the audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's going on. And then other than that, so for some reason I have become obsessed with Call Me Cat. I still I it's almost like I keep rewatching it every day, trying to figure out how to fix it. And a couple things that obviously last time I talked about that it just is really kind of miscast. And some of the characters just totally don't even make sense for why they're there. But also I realized that she doesn't have a nemesis. You know how most comedy shows, there's always that like mom next door that is the irritant, or the rival for the love interest or stuff like that.
I
Well,
thought it was supposed to be your mother.
it is supposed, well, the mother is supposed to be the irritant, but she's not. She's just she's just
Susie.
like, who cares about the mother character? In Miranda, the mother character was a strong, like, just overbearing, opinionated, didn't fucking listen to you, and whenever she did something that was mean to you, she just said such fun and walked off. It didn't matter. In this one, I'm just afraid every time that Swoozie Kurtz is like doing something more than walking that she's going to break in half. I mean, the poor girl is. I'm very happy that she's acting, but goodness, she looks fragile. But yeah, she needs, and the chemistry came from the girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend of the love interest that she created in her head. That interaction was actually kind of funny. I would want to see her deal more with that. She needs somebody to be irritated by other than just the mother. There is no real antagonist in this. So anyway, I think that is one of the problems too, other than it just needs to kind of pick it up. And I was like, with the therapy episode, I was really having some hope for. It did get a little, it did have a little bit more substance, but it still just kind of missed the mark. So I was sad about that. I don't know. It's one of those things where maybe all of a sudden 5 or 6 episodes in, it suddenly hits its stride, but I'm still waiting. Anyway, so I'm doing this thing of watching the Marvel movies in chronological order. I talked a little bit about that on the last show. Was like 2 movies in at that point. So now I have watched Captain America: The First Avenger. Forgot how good that was. Captain Marvel. I still love Captain Marvel, but the movie didn't grip me as much as a lot of the others. And it's sad because that was actually made kind of the last couple ones that have been made.
It's because you don't like women.
Yeah, right.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, that's Brian. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love women. In fact, I would have liked Captain Marvel more if she had been an Asian woman. I would have loved to have seen that, just having her kick some ass. Anyway, but I do love that she was a lesbian, even though they didn't really make it overt. But come on, they were lesbians. Um, I watched Iron Man, really good. Iron Man 2, boy, was that a fucked up. I don't know what they did wrong with that one, but yeah, boo. I skipped The Incredible Hulk. That's the one with Ed Norton.
Well,
I just couldn't get myself to watch it.
first of all, it's not part of the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Because it was Universal. It was not Disney, Marvel. So I don't consider it's like, well, then shouldn't you be throwing in the X-Men because they're Marvel, but they're not. They're not these
Right.
Marvels, and so that's why I told you you can't count the Hulk or the Incredible Hulk because they're not part of this actual series.
And I was glad because I didn't like either of them.
I like the first one, but I didn't like the Incredible Hulk that much.
I just and I loved the series. Remember the old 1980 series? Well, I was a kid, but I mean, I loved it. And of course, I mean, what's his name?
Bill Bixby.
Thank you. I thought he was a hot daddy, of course. He got my teen genes going there. Anyway, moving on from that, I then watched Thor. Wow, that in perspective was kind of bad. It had basically no fucking plot to it at all.
Well, it had Kat and it had what's her name, the Black Swan. They ruined the show. The two women in the show.
Yeah, I didn't feel any. I don't understand why Thor was hot for her. There was no chemistry whatsoever.
None.
And all they did is run around and be whiny.
Yeah, I mean they were the damsel in distress, and I don't like those characters.
Right.
I just don't like those characters anymore. I think they're lazy writing.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So and then the Avengers, which was really good, but I remember absolutely loving it when I first saw it. And this time I really liked it, but I didn't like love it as much. But it still had beautiful moments, especially the interaction between Thor and the Hulk, and then Hulk and Loki and stuff. Really good interaction there.
See, I always liked the Hulk and Iron Man. How he's always like trying to get, hey, you gonna turn green? Hey,
right, yeah.
It was always so much fun, Yeah. So I really, and of course, bringing in my good friend Mark Ruffalo,
yes,
as the Hulk, which I think actually was a real smart move because when he hulks out, he still has a hairy chest.
I know. I noticed that. He's got a beautiful hairy chest either way. And then the Iron Man 3, which I thought was really good. And then Thor Dark World, again, thin ass plot, but still the action and the character development in it really did good. Captain America Winter Soldier, loved it. I had forgotten how good Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 were. They were really outstanding movies. And so I really had a good time rewatching those. And then last night I got to Age of Ultron, which again had great character development. I really felt the Avengers as a team, like they really bonded. But the whole Ultron thing, I don't know. It was like I just wanted more plot wise, but still really enjoyable movie. And then tonight is Ant-Man. And I remember loving Ant-Man both times I've seen it so far. So, and then of course you've got that beautiful
Paul Rudd.
Thank you. And Paul Rudd I have loved him since the first time I saw him, I think, in Clueless? I don't know, but he's beautiful. Moving on, We want to remind you to be loud, be proud, be too much, and to be you. And Fat Market Clothing wants those of us who've been told that we are too much of something to turn those negatives into positives. And you can do that by going over to fatmarkerclothing.com and using the code FMWildChub to get 20% off anything while ordering over there. Yay. All right, let's get into advice. Here we go. I am a college student just wrapping up my junior year. This year has been an incredible, stressful one for me. I had to undergo a series of rabies shots after being bitten by a bat. My mother's house was burglarized, and 2 close friends of mine have been imprisoned. The house I live in attracts numerous unwanted critters and is far enough away from campus that I've lost touch with almost all of my classmates. Because of these factors, I have been experiencing severe bouts of depression and emotional instability, and I recently succumbed to these feelings and sought out an escort online. However, she was an undercover police officer, and I was charged with solicitation. I sought out legal help on my own, and the charges will be dismissed in less than 2 months after I complete an educational program. What the fuck? I'd never heard of that. I mean, I have for driving, but anyway, I have also entered counseling through my university. I have not told anybody outside of my lawyer and therapist about the incident because there is a definite social stigma attached regarding prostitution, and I'm extremely embarrassed. Sorry about that. Let's see here. I'm extremely embarrassed. My parents have been very understanding and supportive of me this past year, but I do not think I can bring myself to tell them about the incident. Given that the charges will be dismissed, do I need to tell my parents about it at all?
No.
Yeah, I agree. No.
I mean, he's over 18, right?
Yep.
So no.
Yeah.
No reason at all.
You're an adult. You don't need to tell anybody anything. Just be careful where you get your online hookups in the future. Anyway, that is fine.
That's the problem with straight people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on. There's Dateline. I mean, there's hookup lines for this. You know, gay people have been doing it for, well, since the dating apps came up, doing it for years, and yet here's straight people still trying to figure out how to get laid.
Yeah, well, not only the apps, but I mean, if you are going to pay for an okay, well, actually, you don't pay. You pay for their time to visit you or spend with you. You don't actually pay for sex. That comes afterward. Anyway, the point is, I guess maybe it's different for us because actually I could name probably 10 or 15 people who are pretty good friends who are all escorts. So, you know, I guess we just are more connected with the escort community. I don't know. I'm just saying there are apps and sites and stuff that yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, but the question, the answer to the question is absolutely not. There's no reason for you to need to tell anybody. And if it's going to be dismissed and there's not going to be any, you know, formal charges or anything, and frankly, I'm sorry, but that kind of sounds a little bit like entrapment to me. Moving on.
That's probably why it's being dropped.
Yeah, I imagine so.
I mean, a lot of times, you know, what the law does is they get people into a situation where they're going to change their ways forever after being arrested. Well, they're not really arrested, but they're kind of arrested. You know so in most cases, people don't go back and do what they're not supposed to be doing.
Right. Exactly. All right. Well, anyway, here's what Dear Prudie had to say. You were bitten by a potentially rabid bat. That gives you a freebie on subsequent mad behavior. It sounds as if Judith Vorst should do an update of her classic children's book, make it for young adults, and call it Alexander the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Junior Year. I'm assuming you mean that the charges will be expunged, right? I hope so, in which case it's as if the incident never happened. You have dealt with this in an adult way, and since it will have no further bearing on your life, you aren't obligated to tell anyone. You say your parents have been very supportive of you, so instead of discussing solicitation, solicit them for help in underwriting housing for you to get housing for you that gets you close to the university. You're entitled to enjoy your college years and not feel as if you're exiled to some outer precinct of true blood. Yeah, I know, right? Well, it actually is kind of funny, so I guess it's probably not Dear Prudie that wrote it. Actually, it looks like it was the former Dear Prudie that wrote that one. Interesting. All right. Hey, Chubs, what games do you play on your tablet?
Let's see. The only thing I play is, well, it's Wonka slots, and I play Free Fall. What is it? Frozen Free Fall.
I guess I don't really know that one.
And
I
then,
mean, I've heard of Free Fall, yeah, but
and then the one with I don't know what this is called. It's like I think it's Bejeweled.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of the first good games that I ever played.
Yeah, and they've changed it since it was first. It's more of a more of a drop down kind of game.
Ah,
Yeah, so it's fun. But I find I spend most of my day collecting bonuses and less actually playing the game.
yeah, yeah. I have a couple. Homescapes I have played for years. I do like that one mainly because it appeases I get to clear out huge rooms of all the garbage and then redecorate them. So that appeases that part of me. Merge Dragons is one that I play a lot, and I have a couple friends who play that as well. I have a jigsaw puzzle game, Canasta, Gin Rummy. Happy Color is one that I play a lot, and yeah, that's every day. It's a little color by numbers, and you just tap the color and you color it in. It's very neat.
You make me want to kill myself.
And Bingo Blitz. Yeah, that's a good one too. Monopoly slots. I used to play that. I don't really anymore.
And so now you're telling us what you don't play anymore?
Yeah. You know which one that I used to love was? Did you ever play Simpsons Tapped Out?
No.
I played that when it first came out, and played it for like a year and a half, and then it got to the point where everything was it was just trying to sell you the $10 bullshit to make you advance, and I gave up. All right, hey Chubs, if you knew you would be safe, would you take a trip around the moon and back?
No.
I would. I mean, if you knew you were safe, it'd be cool.
Yeah, but you're also shitting in your suit.
Okay, so let's assume that if you absolutely knew you were safe, you're going to be at a technology level that it's probably not going to take more than a few hours to do.
No.
Okay, that's all right.
No, well, I'm glad. I'm glad you're telling me it's okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some people seem like like you were going to be punished or talked down to about.
No, this is like the people who go, "Oh, come on, this zip lining is totally safe. Come on, just do it. Hey, let's jump off a bridge with a bungee cord attached to us. Nothing's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Well, the fact is, I don't go on, roller coasters because I have such a dread before I even get on the game, the roller coaster, and during it, I end up I'm miserable. So no,
See,
I don't like doing that shit.
And that's okay. And
thank you for once again
I'm
acknowledging that it's okay.
I am validating that is perfectly acceptable against all the people that are going to tell you, oh man, you don't know what you're missing out. You do know what you're missing out.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
I went on, just to give you an example.
Yeah.
I went on, I was in Disneyland. I went on the Space Mountain. Well,
oh yeah,
in Space Mountain, most of the ride is pitch dark.
Mm-hmm.
So as you're running around, every once in a while, you can feel you're near something.
Yes.
And so to me, I sit taller
Uh-huh.
than most people do, and not just because I have a big ass, but because I actually am long-waisted, just like that swimmer guy. I'm long-waisted like he is.
Yeah.
And I have short legs, but I'm regular height. But so the whole time I'm crouching down like this, worried that I'm going to be decapitated in this fucking roller coaster. And when I get off it, I feel as though I hurt all over.
Yeah.
I'm so tense.
Yeah.
I'm so uncomfortable doing this thing. I never did. I did it once, and that was enough for me. And then we go from there over to the Indiana Jones ride, where it just basically it's a simulator that throws you around. Or then you go to the other simulator, the Star Tours, that tosses you around like a fucking rag doll. In this ride, and then afterwards you're wondering why my back hurts, my neck hurts. I'm not sleeping because my shoulders aching all the time. No, I'm done with these things that are perfectly safe.
Yeah. Funny that I actually had been on the rides that you mentioned, because you know me, I never really go anywhere to do anything. But I've been on those rides. The Indiana Jones one, I remember being really annoyed at. And Space Mountain, yes. Well, I sit up higher because I do have a fat ass. And I remember being thankful that the thing locked into place and just for me to even be on it. And then I am holding on for dear life. And yes, I swear that like I could feel like the roof whizzing like just inches above my head. And it was freaking me out, man. Yeah. So there was that. How
pretty it's going to be when your car pulls up and most of your forehead is still in the game.
Apparently, yeah, exactly. That was freaky.
Oh, and the other on the moon trip that you want to go on. Okay, just remember, at some point you're going to be at like 5 Gs, so it's going to feel like your forehead is actually in the back of your head. Come on, seriously, you don't even like to drive fast in a car, and here you are going to speed around the fucking moon.
Well, I imagine it would be more like the passenger shuttle, and it just takes off and then goes around the moon and comes back, but. I love roller coasters. I love the zipper. I love doing that stuff. I would love to be thin enough to be able to fit on all of those and go do them over and over and over. However, what was the other thing you mentioned? Oh, the zip lining and stuff. I would do that. Bungee jumping, I'm not too sure of. And
by the way,
I want to skydive.
The zip lining you can't do.
I can't?
No, you're too fat.
We're thin enough?
You got to be like under 250 pounds.
Well, why don't you just tell everybody?
You're fat.
Yeah.
Too fat. You have to be this weight to ride this ride. So go sit down.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
It basically comes like when we're on vacation. I mean, we've been told many a time, oh, well, if you want to do a zip lining tour, we can, but he can't because he's too fat.
Uh-huh. Oh
I've
yeah.
been told that.
Yep.
And I'm
And
like, well, good. I didn't want to fucking do it anyway,
right.
which is not something I should be yelling at the clerk at the sports place, but I did. Okay.
Well, there you go. And yeah, every right to, frankly. Let's see. Yeah, I got nothing else with that. So, hey, what's in your lunchbox? Well, all we have is a little note saying I'm not submitting to the lunchbox anymore because you question the validity of my chicken. So.
Shut up.
No, but nobody did get a chance to submit this.
Well, he was too busy redoing the sprinkler systems.
There you go. Yeah.
And adding on the wing, the new wing of the house.
I can see him do that. I can see.
I hope Moose knows we're only making fun of him because he's so productive and not lazy like us.
And we are very jealous of that.
Oh God, I just can't stand it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the other reason is because he's not taking his husband to New York because there's no shows to watch.
Mm.
Every time he goes on vacation, all I do is,
yeah,
I want to go on vacation with him. Sean wants to go and surf, you know, and go diving and shit like that. I want to go to plays and eat at restaurants with Moose. That's what I want.
Yeah, I think both of those are nice, but I'll choose the shows and dinner first. Yeah, and actually, Mr. Michael Sage knows a lot about New York. He would be a good tour guide as well. All right, currently, LGBT, right off the bat, currently, LGBTQ people of color in America have a disproportionately high rate of new HIV infections. Golden Rule Services of Sacramento, along with the HIV Community Planning Council, want you to know about an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, or PrEP, is a medication that has proven to be 99% effective in preventing HIV infection. If you think PrEP might be right for you, visit your local sexual health clinic. If you reside in Sacramento County, California, contact Golden Rule Services at sacgrs.org to get started on protecting your sexual health. Also, did you hear that they now have, the FDA has approved a once a month injection medication for HIV?
I have not.
Yeah, the news just came out the other day, but I mean, that's amazing. So people go ahead.
What exactly does that mean?
So, you know how people with HIV have to take medications like every day?
Sure.
So this would actually be an injection that they would take, and then it would last for 1 month.
Wow.
So no pills unless there's pills for any side effects or anything. But other than that, it would just be a once a month shot.
Jesus. Well, that has certainly turned that virus around.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm really hoping that it is completely as effective as it seems to be, and it takes off. That would be great for so many people. Let's see here. Okay, well, it's time for our current topics. And our current topics, we've got President Biden overturns the ban on transgender military personnel. One of his biggest campaign promises to LGBTQ voters is being fulfilled.
Well, that whole thing was such a piss off.
Yep.
I mean, first of all, the military had no problem with their transgender their transgender folks at all.
Right.
And this was only the only reason why they did this was because some fucking GOP somewhere said, why should we have to pay for their meds?
Well, yeah, there's that.
Because, no, that's what it was. It was all based on the money that they felt they were paying out for these freaks to live their life. Yeah. And it's, you know, this is like when I always hear this, well, you know, the reason why the insurance is so bad is because these fat people are always getting their knees done. And my argument was always, I don't know any fat guy that's gotten his knees done
right
off the top of my head, or that I know personally, but I can name you at least 12 people who are runners that have gotten their knees done because of their sports interests. So I don't want to hear that. And I'm sure that if you weighed out how much money goes into taking care of these different soldiers, or regular, the regular soldiers or the transgender soldiers, I'm sure that we're not seeing a huge fucking bit of money going on. And this is just all, this is all against people who are trans. That's all it is. It kind of, what happens is the trans people have gotten sloshed into the gay and lesbian bucket, and so anything that's special for any of these groups is too much for us to have to deal with. We shouldn't have to pay for that. But heaven forbid, if your wife has breast cancer, that's going to be covered. But heaven forbid if that lesbian's wife has breast cancer, because we shouldn't have to pay for that.
Right. Exactly.
They piss me off. They piss me off. And that's and why Trump got caught into that, I don't know. Because there was, it's not, we're not even talking about that much money.
Well, I think a lot of it is people that were whispering in his ear.
Oh, I know.
And getting and this was part of that. And because even the military service said, we don't want that. We want them.
Generals were signing paperwork saying, no, this is not something that we need to worry about. You're talking about fine people in the military, and we're okay with this. This is not a big deal to us. Well, we don't like it. So well, it's just, speaking of whispering in his ear, when we were talking about Fauci, and I can't remember her name, but the lady who with the scarf lady. They said that there were actually COVID deniers in the White House whispering in his ear that this isn't a big deal. From up until the time he left office, they were still doing that. I mean, idiot, what was his name? The guy that he was taking like all his information and completely agreeing with him. Remember the last guy that finally left? I hate not remembering these people.
Bill Barr?
No. This was the guy that he was actually listening to about the coronavirus, and the guy who said we need to get the herd immunity.
Oh, that fucker.
Yeah, well, he was a denier. Oh, this isn't any big deal. This is like the flu. We got to stop spending all this money and destroying our economy on it.
We want them to get it.
Yeah,
is what he said.
This is what he had people saying in his ear, and of course, he's such a strong person that he can separate the good from the bad. No, he just, if somebody says something to him long enough, he believes it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still reading things about how people are talking about how they believe that he was being fed that he won.
Well, yeah,
you know I mean?
I'm sure. Well, that's why thinking that Putin doesn't have something to do with his behavior is ridiculous, because he'll listen to who he respects.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if I hear anybody else bitch about how Biden doesn't have enough vaccine in week 1, I want to kick him in the fucking ass.
Yeah, David Pakman said that as soon as Biden is in office, the next day you're going to hear that COVID problems are all his fault.
Right.
Vaccine stuff is his fault. And they went right back to all the tropes that they were doing before Trump about how Democrats are going to destroy the community. They destroy, they're not fiscally responsible, and this. And
gas is going to be $4 a gallon. Yeah. And
all the same old bullshit.
Oh, I saw it on my mother-in-law's. She was bitching about Biden, and then her friends were joining in, going, "Oh, we're fucked for the next 4 years. Gas is going to be $4." And well, actually, she made it sound like gas was already $4.
Right.
Oh my God, they're taxing us up the butthole, and I'm like, he's been in office 3 seconds. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
It's just it's the Fox News bitches that sit around and just swallow up all the Kool-Aid.
Yep. So, yeah. All right. Let's see. Moving on. Next story here we have. New York City now officially recognizes LGBTQ businesses as minority-owned enterprises.
Finally.
After legislative efforts by Richie Torres and others, the Big Apple struck a deal to become the largest municipality to recognize LGBTQ businesses owners for minority enterprise opportunities. Yes. It is about time. It is about fucking time.
Yeah.
And also, the last thing we have here is about Biden's watch. Really? This was a fucking story. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So they made a great big deal about the watch that he was wearing not being up to standard for somebody that was the president at the inauguration. And then I forget what the name of it was, but it's like a Timex or something like that, just like a standard watch. So they made this big fun, and it was like the New York Times made this huge fucking deal about it. Went viral, everything. It's like Obama's pantsuit or beige suit or whatever. Yeah. Well, anyway, before you go on, it turns out that this watch was the watch that belonged to his son who died several years ago, and he was wearing it to honor his presence there at the inauguration. And I'm just like, here we are, we're back to like the most basic bullshit they're trying to pull to make news out of nothing, and it turns out and it just backfires in their face.
Well, but it doesn't. That's the whole thing. It doesn't backfire because no one cares about the rest of the story. They just care about, how dare him belittle the inauguration by showing up with a cheap watch on.
Yeah,
that's all people are going to be talking about. And yet Bernie Sanders is in mittens.
I know.
And he gets a zillion memes based on him, and they're bitching about Biden's watch. Fuck you. That's all.
And Bernie. I mean, he really did show up there looking like, well, I was going to the deli and somehow somebody ushered me in here. I don't know what I'm here for, but it looks important, so I'll stay.
Well, what he said was, obviously, people who are not from Vermont do not know what it's like sitting in the freezing cold weather for 3 hours. Okay, I'm going to be warm.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't have a designer creating fabulous outfits for me. I have mittens and I have a hat that I'm going to take off to be respectful.
And he even had an envelope with him. Oh my stars.
He had to stop by and mail something afterwards.
Yeah. So before we go, let's gay up ourselves just a quick moment and say, wasn't Michelle Obama's outfit just fucking amazing?
Well, what I liked was when they added the Star Wars things.
Oh yeah.
He was carrying it. It looked like something that a really cool Star Wars character would come dressed in, and then she'd pull out her lightsaber, and everyone would go, "Oh!" But I did love the meme that said that noise you heard, that gasp you heard, was when all the gay men who saw Michelle Obama enter with that big cape on.
Yes, that was a good meme too. And then there was also one where they had Jill and Kamala and Michelle all together, and below it they were wearing the same colors as the three fairy godmothers.
Yeah,
from Disney. So
well, I also like the one with Lisa Simpson wearing the same outfit that Kamala Harris had.
Yes,
and they're going, the Simpsons doing it again.
Yeah, I'm telling you, those shows have been so scarily fucking accurate.
Well, it's been 32 years. They're going to have to cover everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, lately the Simpsons are barely even in the episodes. They're all based on different characters, like the comic book guy or Mo or one of characters that don't get enough screen time. Well, they're devoting full episodes to them.
Well, they got to do something to keep going. I applaud him, though. All right. Hey, send us an email at chubsgonewild@gmail.com. Leave us a comment on chubsgonewild.com. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/chubsgonewild. Send us something for what's in your lunchbox at chubsgonewild@gmail.com. Become a patron of the show, patreon.com/MattBurlingame. Find Tom's movie and TV reviews over at swanerandjudd.com for podcasts. Written word, find them in iHeart Radio, iTunes, or in print at the Anchorage Press. I'm getting there. Find out more about my books at justkisstheguy.com and check out my other podcasts at biggaysexshow.com. And give us a call at
408-69 Chubs.
Woohoo! And hey, I got a little extra something for you today. If you want a Valentine's card from us, we will give one to one very special listener. And we're going to enter you into a contest, but all you have to do is send us an email, and it has to be an email to chubsgonewild@gmail.com, and use the code Valentine. Just send it to us, email it to us, and we'll enter you into a year-end, a Valentine's Day contest, and Tom and I will send you a Valentine. And with that, we love you, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.